welcome back to my channel. My name's Asha and today I'm going to be doing a video all about the base. So I'm talking primer, foundation, color corrector, concealer, powder, prep as well, all that kind of stuff. So I want to talk about how to get your skin looking amazing, not too heavy, but also coverage, you know. I'm going to be talking all about that stuff. So today's video should be a bit of fun. It should give you some tips and tricks. There are plenty of these types of videos out there, but I'm not going to lie, I've got some tricks that I haven't seen on video before. Potentially people do them already, but these things I've actually come up with myself that I have learned through over time, going, okay, next time I'm going to do this, okay, next time I'm going to do that. Today I'm matching. Cringe! First we want to prep the skin and make sure it's all going to be nice and healthy. I'm talking exfoliator, serum and moisturizer and eye cream. So of course you want to make sure your skin is well exfoliated. Mine is very exfoliated. Last night I used the Perfectionist Pro Instant Resurfacing Peel with AHAs and BHAs. It tingles a lot so you know it's working, which I love. I actually love that it hurts, but it does exfoliate your skin chemically and it gets rid of all of the like dead skin on the surface. It's amazing and my skin feels like butter. You don't have to use a chemical exfoliator, you can use a manual exfoliator, so that's something that's got fine granules in it. I'm going to use an essence or a lotion. It's basically like a liquid serum. And that's the first thing that I like to put on my skin. It's going to re-plump, reinvigorate and help pull product deeper. I'm using my double serum. I am so low on this. I just apply it everywhere first. What the consultants teach you is to push it into the skin. Again, this is really plumping. This product is like an oil and water formula, and when you pump it, you get both. So it hydrates and replenishes your oil and water levels. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add a moisture barrier. This is the Clinique Moisture Surge Hydrating Supercharged Concentrate. I love this. It's such an amazing product. I'm gonna start to drag my products down. Okay, moisturizer, I'm going to be using my Revitalising Supreme Global Anti-Aging Cell Power Cream, keeping this well away from my eyes. This is the Advanced Night Repair Eye. It's like a gel. It is so, so nice. I'm going to massage it in with a tool. This is very, very cooling, and it is going to actually help with lifting my skin and like dark circles and things. So just going from the center outward, it's going to help drain any excess fluid around my eyes. My next tip is about matching your foundation color. So I here have my Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r foundation in 250. Now I used to think this was too light for me, but I recolor matched myself with all of my foundations the other day on my chest and on my cheeks, and I found that this was my absolute best match. So crazy. It is the same color as the lightest parts of my body. So here, when you're matching your chest and your cheeks, hopefully they're around the same shade. If they're not, find something in between to balance you out. A lot of people color match themselves to their jawline and their neck, and that's not a bad thing to do. It means that, you know, your face is going to match your neck, but actually this is the area that you want to match better. If you have a lot of redness in your chest, or a super brown on your chest, or a quite different color here to here, then maybe that's a rule of thumb that you probably don't want to do that. But if you are very similar, then match yourself to your chest. It's going to come across a lot better when everything is on. And of course, if your neck is a lot lighter, which most people's are because our chin and our hair acts like a sun hat, then you will get a better finish. So matching yourself is important, and you want to be somewhere that has natural lighting, so in front of a big window or even your car. Your car is such a good place to check. You're surrounded in windows, you're under shade, so there's no actual sun on your skin, and you will be able to tell what is best for you. Another thing as well, like I said, if you've got redness or pigmentation or whatever it might be, color correct that area as well. So I see women, especially in New Zealand, having quite red chests, and you don't want to match your foundation to your red chest. You want to look more like natural. You don't want to be too red. So you want to color correct that as much as possible. So you can use a green or a yellow color corrector mixed with a little bit of primer and just apply that to the areas that are more red, and you will notice everything gets toned down. You don't want to use too much because you don't want to have to go and cover that up with powder or foundation unless you absolutely have to. You just want to use a small amount just to neutralize, and that will really help with any of those areas. And the good thing about mixing a primer in with the product is it's going to dilute suit the color of the color corrector, so you won't have it too intense on your chest. And also it's a primer, it's going to set and it shouldn't come off on your clothes. Most primers anyway. Test that first. Also your concealer. Make sure your concealer is a bit lighter than your foundation, and that'll brighten up wherever you're putting it. Not too light though. Don't go extreme. That's when it becomes cakey looking. That's when you can see texture on your skin. It just needs to be a fraction lighter. So bronzer. Bronzer should match the darkest parts of your body where you get the most sun. So look at your legs, look at your shoulders, look at your arms, especially your driving arm, and match your bronzer to that area. If you find that you're the same color everywhere, then use a slightly lighter foundation so that when you put your bronzer on, it does connect with everything, rather than having the correct color of foundation on your face and then bronzing your skin and going a bit darker, and then your face is darker than the rest of your body. That's not a good look. So that's a really good tip as well. So just having a look at your skin and really thinking, okay, in that way, when you do put the bronzer back on to add color back into your skin, it'll look more natural. Okay, so while I've been talking, my moisturizer and things have kind of settled into my skin, which is important. You do want your skincare to settle a little bit, but I also like to have my skin having a little bit of wetness to it. And that makes sure that everything kind of adheres together and gels together and everything becomes one. You don't want layer, 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 and set in between each layer. It will get cakey and your skin will not be one with your makeup. You want your skin to be one with your makeup. That sounds like bullshit that I'm talking out of my ass, but I'm being serious. So now I want you to look at your ingredients of your products. You want your foundation, your primer, and your moisturizer to all have the same base ingredients, or at least very, very similar. And it should just be, you should be looking at the top 3 or 4 ingredients on the list. So I've got my Fenty Beauty, the Smoothing Primer by Estee Lauder, my MAC Strobe Cream, and you guys saw me put it on before, the Estee Lauder Revitalising Supreme Plus. So those products all have very similar bases. This one has dimethicone as its first ingredient, so it's mainly dimethicone. The rest of them are water, but then they have dimethicone, glycerin, I think trimethicone, and maybe some silica or something similar. So make sure you are checking your moisturizer, your primer, and your foundation products and checking that they have the same base. You don't want a product that is an oil-based product or has a lot of oil in it with a product that has a water base with absolutely no oil. They most likely will bounce off each other and probably not work as well together, and you'll be wondering, why is my foundation not doing what I want it to do? You'll notice that a lot of consultants, when you go to a beauty counter, will tell you that you should use the primer that matches the foundation or whatever they might be saying. And they've got a point, you know, they're not technically giving you bad advice. I hope that makes sense and gives you an idea of you know, what can work well for you and maybe what isn't working in your routine. Have a look at the ingredients on the product. So now we're going to go ahead and get everything started. This is the MAC Fast Response Eye Cream. This product, a lot of makeup artists use. It definitely wakes your eyes up. It's very smoothing as well, so I know that my under eyes are going to look amazing. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray my skin with some Prep and Prime Fix Plus Spray by MAC. And you'll see that I use this a lot. By the way, this is just limited edition packaging. So you guys can skip to the next part if you want to, if you don't have darkness that you need to color correct. But if you do need to color correct, continue to watch this step. Of course, if you have redness, you can use this technique as well. Just put it over the areas that have redness. So I personally have darkness around my mouth and around my eyes. I actually do have it on my forehead as well, but I'm not going to focus on my forehead because I hardly have any blemishes there, so I don't use much foundation there. I do have one big blue vein along my, I'm going to zoom you guys in and show you guys this bad boy. Look at that vein. I am going to color correct that area as well. But around my mouth, I have a lot of darkness. And it actually is around here too, but because I'm covering that with contour and making that area dark, it doesn't bother me. But here, when I put foundation on this area, it can go ashy, especially because I've matched my foundation to the lightest part of my face, which is my cheek. So we need to make sure we color correct everything so nothing goes ashy. For darkness around my mouth and things, I'm going to use an orange color corrector. I actually love this brand for color correcting and for concealer. It's the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is in orange corrector. It's genuinely a very good product. So I'm going to put it on the back of my hand. Now here comes something that probably will sound a little bit crazy, but it works, so you want to do it. I'm going to mix my Strobe Cream and my smoothing primer. This is mainly dimethicone. This is water and dimethicone. Mixing them together will dilute this and create a bit of a glow. Plus, I just don't think that this is going to work as well with my foundation because it's all dimethicone, but I do want that smoothing factor. I could just use this on its own. That would be fine, but I still want a little bit more smoothness, and I think this primer is amazing. So I've done 50-50. I'm going to mix them together, and now I've got a really nice, soft, color correcting product. I'm going to apply this around my mouth. I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and blend this all in a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to take the color corrector and just put it in the areas that 100% need that color. This is the Deluxe Concealer Brush by Real Techniques. It's a very good brush for this kind of thing. I am just stamping it. I'm not going to move anything. Or pressing. Maybe pressing is a better word. Again, I'm going to take this brush and just make sure my edges are blended. Okay, so now I've got a lot of orange going on here. I'm going to color correct this orange now with some yellow. You can use lavender as well. I personally don't use lavender because it's so different from my skin tone that it goes ashy again, so yellow works really well for me. Definitely test that out to see what's best for you. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Custom Coverage Correcting Duo. I'm going to use the light side of the yellow, and I'm just going to put this on the back of my hand. I'm pushing it into my brush, just pushing that product in before I go ahead and apply it on top. And I'm just delicately pressing this product on top. I don't want to move the orange, I just want to neutralize it. If any areas go ashy, then I put a little bit of orange back on the skin. And I'm just gonna softly, I'm really lightly touching my skin now. I'm just blending. So I'm not sure if you guys can see the difference here, but now my mouth is looking neutral. It's definitely still darker than my cheeks, but when I put everything on, I shouldn't get any ashiness, which is what I'm going for. I'm gonna do the same thing under my eyes and on my veins. So I'm just gonna take the color corrector. Because I'm very dark there, I want to make sure that I am actually applying the product, but only to those areas, and a very light amount. I don't want to go too crazy. Once my concealer's on, everything's going to look good anyway. It's just more so to help me put less concealer on and to help the blue go away. Taking a little bit of the yellow, I'm just really delicately applying this on top. There he is, he's covered. Candle smells so good, so good. By the way, if you guys are wondering, this candle here is the Glasshouse Electric Love candle. It's amazing. It's like holographic, beautiful, such beautiful packaging, honestly. Okay, so we're going to move on to foundation now. We're going to first prep with the primer everywhere else, but my tip for this is to mix the primers together that you want with your foundation. Not too much of the foundation, just enough for some pigment. I always say that with a pump foundation, I know it's a bit of a waste, but get rid of the first bit of the pump because it's old in there and it kind of settles and dries up, so it's not the best. I'm going to mix my primers and my foundation together. I need to saturate my skin with some Fix Plus. I'm doing that because I want my skin to refresh again. I'm using a clean part of my hand to just sweep most of it off. We know that these products are a very similar base, so they're going to work really well. So this is going over my cheeks and my nose. Because this brush is super fluffy, it allows me to go over the edges of where I've already color corrected, and that way everything will blend together seamlessly. And this is in a buffing type of motion. You want to really get it into your pores. Now I'm just going to move in downward motions. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the foundation properly, as you normally would. And I'm going to use the Expert Face Brush by Real Techniques. And I'm just going to push this into my skin. You can again use a beauty blender for this, whatever your preference is. Your pressing movements also should be in a downward motion. That way it will pull all of any like texture downward and keep it flat, and also your little baby hairs. I've gone really quickly into this next step because if I don't, then nothing will gel well together. Like I said, I want everything to be all as one. Make sure to go over the edge of your lips as well. Using a very small amount around my forehead because my forehead actually doesn't have a lot to cover. It's just more to help any discoloration. As soon as you put the foundation alone back on top, it blends out everything and all of a sudden your skin is very, very poreless. I'm not gonna lie, I still have pores. Like, my pores are huge, but everything looks really damn smooth. And around my mouth, it doesn't look bad at all. Now, obviously this foundation is quite a full coverage foundation, so bear that in mind as well. If you want something more natural and lightweight, that's fine as well. But now I've actually used only 1 pump of foundation rather than 2. We're going to refresh my foundation again and then move on to concealer. So now what you can do as well, if you have any blemishes that you want to cover, take a little bit of the foundation and go ahead and apply it with a very small brush just over the areas that you may need a little bit more. Now I'm really lightly tapping, I'm talking like the tiniest of taps over top of it with my foundation brush. I do find that my Tarte Shape Tape covers really well, so I'm going to use this. This is very similar to my skin tone, but like I said, just a fraction lighter. So I'm just dabbing the product because I don't want to remove any of the color corrector I've got underneath. And I'm using, actually, this is a very small amount. I see a lot of people using way too much concealer. Be careful, you don't need a lot. I am going to so lightly take my time, so I'm literally just touching where I've put it, and you can see that's blending it out. I'm very delicately bringing it down over the foundation. I'm just going to blend it up here into my eyebrow. My touch was firm and straight down, and it wasn't pressing, like my brush isn't pushing, it was just cushioning the product. You can see my eyelids are really dark now compared to everything else, but I will be concealing that with a eyeshadow base when we get to eyes, so right now it's going to look a little bit crazy. Let your skin settle for about 5 minutes before you go ahead and set. That way you can check the skin and find any areas that may have creased or started to gather or anything like that before you powder, because once you've powdered, you can't go back. You're done. That's it. I've given my under eyes enough time to settle, and now when I look up, you can definitely see creasing. What this has done is taken away any excess product from my under eyes, and it's allowed it to slip into those creases. When I get rid of that excess product, it shouldn't slip as much anymore. So I'm going to take my brush, this has got nothing on it at the moment, and I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that as well, okay? I'm very lightly touching the skin. And I'm blending upward. I think I need a little bit more brightness on my face. I know I'm going to be in the next video talking about like how to sculpt and contour and highlight and stuff, but part of it is actually your concealer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my Tarte Shape Tape and my color corrector together to create a really light shade of my skin tone. And I'm going to take the full cover side instead of the light side now. Then I'm going to get a clean, fluffy, synthetic eyeshadow brush and mix them together. And now I'm going to dab somewhere where I've got nothing on and get rid of most of the product. This is what like painting artists call dry brushing. So I'm going to essentially get this brush to pretty much be dry with product. I'm going to press it where I need it. Not directly under the eye, I'm just doing the darkness. I'm also going to bring it over my cheekbones. And I'm really just pressing it on top of the areas that need it. I don't have much creasing going here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of extra dark, brightness there. It actually does lift the eye when that area is brighter. and now my under eye looks like lifted and bright. That part is all done. Before I set with powder, I'm just going to make sure my under eyes are all good and then go ahead and set. I'm going to be using the Revolution Luxury Banana Powder. This here is the Wet n Wild P75. Now, the reason I like this brush is it's not dense. It's super, super fluffy. It's synthetic, so it's going to pick up a lot of product, but I can shake off a lot of it as well. So taking this brush and I'm pushing it deep into the bristles. Then I'm going to tap off with my finger. And then instead of going directly right into the inner corner of the eye where the creasing is, I'm going to start here and work my way into the under eye. That way I can build up my under eye area with powder rather than slap bang putting heaps of powder on. Don't want that. That's when you become creasy. My third application is usually my last for pressing. I've got one more, but this time I'm going to actually like buff. Okay, so buffing that back and forth over that area, really getting into the under eye. And you can see how bright and lifted that is. It's very blurred. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my T-zone, so in between my eyebrows, my nose, my upper lip and my chin. This is literally just to kind of set a little bit in place and more for the brightening effect. To finish off, of course, we're going to use some Fix Plus spray. Just one other thing, if you are wearing a foundation that's tacky, you'll need to set the whole face, but this Fenty foundation is so matte that the foundation is set. Like, I am set all here and I haven't put any powder there. Of course, I am going to be using powder products in my next video that'll show you guys how to contour and create definition in the skin, but also create color and bring your skin back to life rather than looking like a blank canvas like I am right now. And that will, of course, add powder to my skin. One other thing that I personally like to do, and this is just a personal thing, is I get a little paintbrush that's teeny tiny and I remove the makeup from my beauty spot. So I've got a little bit of micellar water on this and I am just painting the micellar water onto the dot, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it with a cotton bud. I know it's kind of a weird random thing to finish on. So that is it, all done. I am so excited that I'm finally doing this video. It's really, really cool. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new. If you are going to try any of these techniques out, let me know in the comments below what you're going to try and how it worked for you. And of course, if you have any other tips, let us know down below as well. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be all about how to enhance your face with color and contour. But of course, there will be more to come after that as well, and techniques to come soon. So keep an eye out for those as well. I am making this a series. Of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and learned something new. Comment down below if you have any questions or if you'd like to suggest what I could do in the future. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and you like videos like this one. I really do appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you're all staying safe, and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Bye!